Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to do my October book haul. So I have about 21 books to show you, and I figured let's this time divide them in genres. So I'll start with the romances, and I'll divide them in contemporary romances, historical romances, other romances, which I only have two other romances. Then I want to talk about the fantasies, and then I'm going to end with the manga slash graphic novels. So I'll have timestamps down below for you. So if you're not interested in a particular genre or subgenre, you can skip to another genre. So let's start with the contemporaries. Those are actually the biggest, this is actually the biggest stack. So the first two are actually Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So I actually really wanted the US cover for Yours Truly because the UK cover is really ugly in my opinion. So I figured let's just buy the US version for Part of Your World as well to have them match. Which they don't actually match. I just realized this one is a little bit taller. The struggles with buying series. Anyway, these are really, I believe they're kind of connected, but you can read them as standalones, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading Yours Truly before reading Part of Your World for a video I'm going to be doing in November. But anyway, Part of Your World is about this I don't know if you can even see that. Yeah. Prominent ER doctor who goes to this small town, and there she meets this carpenter who's also the mayor of this town. And she's part of this, like you can actually see, so she's this city girl. And she's also a couple of years older than him, 10 years older than him. So on paper, they don't really have a lot in common, but obviously they're gonna fall in love. And there's like this little goat in here. And I've just heard so many good things about this book and about this series that I cannot really wait to read this. Same goes for Yours Truly. This book came out this year, and it has been getting so much hype. You follow this woman who's divorced and this co-worker, and they kind of start writing letters back and forth. To be honest, I don't really know a lot about what this book is about, but I do know Abby Jimenez is very popular. She's been getting more popular since Part of Your World. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. Next, I bought The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So I was debating because obviously the original, the OG covers are not available anymore. And with the girl covers, the only one I really loved was The Deal. The other ones I think look really weird, and I was never a really big fan of them. But since I did love The Deal so much, I was like, let me just buy it. And right around the time I bought it, they actually announced that they're gonna do completely different covers for this series. And it's going to be illustrated covers, and I really do enjoy them. I enjoy them more than all the other covers in this series, so I figured, okay, fine. I'm glad I bought this one because, I don't know, for some reason I do really love this cover, and I already pre-ordered the other ones. So I'm going to for sure be having 2 copies of The Deal, but that doesn't matter because I really love The Deal. So basically The Deal, this is actually a book that I have read. I'm actually going to also split this. I'm gonna also at the end tell you which one of these books I've already read and which ones I still haven't. This one I read and I really, really loved. I read this one for my video of reading 2 very popular sports romances, and this one was one of them. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time. You follow Garrett and Hannah has been crushing on this football player on campus, and Garrett just got a really bad grade for this philosophy class, and he realizes that Hannah's one of the only ones that actually aced this test, so he wants her to tutor him in exchange for him fake dating her because he's a very popular hockey player in their college. And his theory is that if she dates him, then the football guy is also going to be interested in her. And while they're fake dating slash tutoring, they become really good friends. And she tells him that she's never been able to orgasm with another guy because she's been raped. She was raped when she was 15. So they also go about experimenting, seeing if he can get her to orgasm, and it was so good. I love this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. I would highly recommend it. The Summer We Fell by Elizabeth O'Rourke, and I gotta tell you, the only reason I bought this one already is because of the male cover. I really love, I think he's the most attractive guy ever. I'll actually leave his Instagram link down below, but he's also been the male cover for Sophie Lark's books. And I missed out on his, so he was the male cover for Heavy Crown, which I missed out on that book because they started changing the covers. So I think my goal is to just collect books with him on it. And plus, other than that, I did really hear great things about it, but I really wanted to make sure that I got the male cover before. I don't even know if Elizabeth O'Rourke is planning on changing the cover, but I feel like once she does, if she does, then I have the cover I really wanted. I don't even know what this is about. So he was her boyfriend's best friend and she hated him, but now a decade later, they are back together. Like they get in contact again because of a big tragedy. I don't know. Like I said, the only reason I bought it is because of the cover. So anyway. Reckless by Elsie Silver. This one I already read. It's the fourth book in the Chestnut Spring series. You follow Theo and Winter, and you met both of them in the first book in this series. Winter was the heroine's, or is the heroine's sister from that book, and Theo is the hero's prodigy, I think. And she's a little bit older, and in the third book, you actually saw them getting head to head and like have this big fight. And they eventually have a one-night stand that leads to a pregnancy. She tries to contact him, is not able to get a hold of him. He comes back and realizes that he has an almost 1-year-old daughter, and they go about trying to be a family and falling in love. This is my least favorite in the Chestnut Springs, but I did really enjoy my time. Speaking of Elsie Silver, I bought Photo Finish, which this series, I couldn't get the people covers for a long time, and I really wanted the one for Photo Finish because it's my favorite in the series, or my favorite cover in the series, because the other covers I am not a fan of at all. So once she re-released them with the people covers, I immediately snatched it up. So, and I really should buy the other ones before they are unavailable to me. I don't know why. Like, I feel like, yes, I don't hate illustrated covers on principle. I don't. Some of them are really beautiful, but I feel like then have both available at least. Anyway, I know this is a continuous struggle in the romance community. This actually follows the Eaton sister. This is part of her Gold Rush Ranch series. I believe it's the second one. She used to be a cam model. He used to follow her. And now they are in this ranch where they train horses, and one of them realizes who the other one is. And yeah, I've been hearing, like, obviously I love the Chestnut Spring series. I am planning on reading the Gold Rush Ranch series. So, and this one, since it is so tied to the Chestnut Springs, because for those of you who don't know, in the Chestnut Springs series, you follow the Eaton brothers, and this is actually their sister. So hopefully we can see some Eaton family in this book as well. Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. This was picked up by a traditional publisher, and like around the time that was announced, this was really cheap on Amazon to buy, so I figured let's just pre-order it, and it finally came in. This is loosely linked to Still Beating, which I read earlier this year. This is about a boy who went missing, and 20 years later he comes back, and the girl who was his best friend, you know, it's a romance between them. I'm very interested in this book. I didn't love Still Beating as much as a lot of other people seem to, so I'm kind of hesitant because Still Beating is definitely more beloved than Lotus, but we shall see. I didn't hate Still Beating, but hopefully I'll really, really love this one. Actually, my stack for books I have not read is getting significantly bigger than the ones I have. Next is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. So this actually I also bought for a video I'm going to do in November, and I'm not even sure that I'll have to read this one for that video. I don't really know what this is about actually, but I figured let's just start collecting the books for that video already. I believe it's going to be a romantic comedy. I haven't heard the best things about this book, so I'm kind of regretting the fact that I bought this one. So I'm really, really hoping that I get to read it for November, because otherwise I don't think I will read it. I believe this is about comedians and famous people. I don't know. I guess we'll see if I love this. It is not that big, so yeah, like I said. I don't know why I bought this, but hopefully I'll love it. Okay, so those were my contemporary romances. Now for the historical romances, which all of them I actually have read, and all of them are by Lisa Kleypas. Let's start with the Wallflowers, actually. The first one is Again the Magic, which is the point 5, the prequel story in the Wallflower series, and I bought my favorite book in the Wallflower series, and It Happened One Autumn. These ones I actually bought because my friend gave me this gift card for like this bookstore, which didn't have a whole lot of English books, but they did have a couple historical romances, so I bought these two. Yeah, I love these. I love both of them. So like I said, this is a part of both of them are part of the Wallflower series, which is you follow 4 wallflowers who help each other find love, and this one actually follows the 2 sisters of the main male character in this book. So you follow Aline. There's actually 2 romances in here, but the main one is about Aline and McKenna, and they fell in love when they were teenagers, but she's a lady and he's a stable boy, so they're not supposed to be together. So her father actually threatens him if she doesn't break up with him. So she does, and she kind of like, she really hurts him in the process. So he leaves for the US and makes a fortune, and once he's a very rich man, he comes back, and his intent is just to ruin her the same way she ruined him all those years ago. She, in the meantime, something happened to her, and she's been keeping that a secret. But of course, he sets out for revenge, but in the meantime, he's gonna fall head over heels in love with her because he never really stopped loving her. And then It Happened One Autumn is about, like I said, the brother of the 2 female characters in this one. And you follow Lillian, who's also American, and you follow Marcus, who is a lord. He's very prim and proper, and she is audacious. She is just a wild child, and they're very opposites attract, and I really, really loved it. So yeah, I'm very happy to own both of these. And then I actually finished off my collection for the Hathaway. So I bought the last 3 books that I did not own yet. This is one of my favorite historical romance series. I actually prefer it over the Wallflower series, which is not really that like a popular opinion on. I do know that a lot of people love the Wallflowers over the Hathaways, but I definitely don't. The Wallflower, or so I bought Seduce Me at Sunrise, which is the 2nd book, Tempt Me at Twilight, which is the 3rd one, and Love in the Afternoon, which is the 5th one. And this actually, the Hathaways are a series about 5 siblings, 4 girls and 1 boy, and each of them falling in love. This one is a childhood friends to lovers, a very pining heroine and pining hero. This is a kind of like a dark historical romance where this very rich hotel owner manipulates this girl into, falling in love with him, like marrying him, and she vows to never fall in love with him, but of course she does. And then Love in the Afternoon is a epistolary romance about this girl, about Beatrix, who starts, the youngest Hathaway, and she starts writing letters to this guy in the army because he actually thinks he's talking to her friend, but the friend is not interested in him, and Beatrix feels very sorry for him, so she starts writing in her stead. Then he comes back, and she has fallen in love with him during the time of them writing letters to each other, but obviously once he comes back, he doesn't realize that she's the one that has been writing to him. So, like I said, I love this series, and I'm very glad that I have a completed collection because I'll definitely very much cherish them. Now for 2 romances that are not contemporary and not historical. The first one is a dark romance, and it's Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. So I've been slowly collecting these books now that they have come out, now that they're getting traditionally published. Like I said, the 6th book in this series actually had my favorite cover model, but alas, they changed it. This is the 3rd book. You follow Nero and Camille, and they both love cars, and it's like a heist story. It's not my favorite, but like I said, I do want to complete the collection because I do really like the series, and some of the books in this series are definitely favorites of mine. And I've already read this one, obviously. Next is probably my favorite book I bought out of all of them, and I am so happy I found this one, and it's Wolf Song by TJ Klune, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And this is actually the original indie version. And around the time I first read it, I was looking for this book up and down and I could not find it. I actually thought I bought it and I got this mass market paperback edition, and it was around the time that it got actually picked up by a traditional publisher. So eventually I just accepted the fact that I was never gonna own this edition. I was only gonna own the traditional published one, which is beautiful too, but I really wanted the original cover. So I just accepted that fact and kind of moved on. Then I reread Wolfsong, but my edition is the Waterstones exclusive one with beautiful sprayed edges, and I didn't want to tab that book because it kind of ruins the edges for me. So I was on Amazon trying to look for maybe a paperback version of that I could annotate and could tab, and then I find this cover and I was like, oh my god, no. Could it be? I looked up the ESBN, it seemed like it was, so I figured let's just order it. If it's not this one, then at least I'll have a paperback that I can mark up. And then this came, and this book I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I love this edition, and I just love the fact that I finally could buy it after 2 years of searching for it. And like I said, it's one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm so happy that I own it in every edition that I want. So obviously I already read this one. Okay, now for like the fantasy ones. The first one is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. To be honest, I don't know. Is this fantasy? This might be horror. This might actually be like a tragic love story. I don't know. But funny story with this one. If I can, I'll leave a clip. But I went to Istanbul this year, and actually close to our hotel, there was this beautiful, I thought it was a library. Like I saw these stairs with books in them and I was mesmerized. So one day I was like, let me just look. If it's a library, I'll just peruse and see. I just was, like I said, I was really entranced by these stairs. And then when I went in, it wasn't a library. It was actually a bookstore that only sold English books. So I figured, you know what? This is kind of my souvenir, just buying books when I'm on vacation. So I bought this one. This I've been meaning to read for a while now. You follow one of the brides of Dracula, and she's kind of writing him letters telling him why she hates him so much. And there might be like a female love story involved. I don't know, but I do know that a lot of people really love it. It's a pretty short book. I am convinced that this is going to be one of my favorite books, so I'm really glad that I bought it on vacation. Next is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a pretty popular book, and I could have put it at romance, but I'm pretty sure this is like a young adult historical fiction type of fantasy. I don't even know if it's that fantasy, honestly. I don't know, but like I said, it has been getting so much hype. I know the second book either comes out at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So yeah, very hyped for it, even though I've not read this one yet. This, to me, sounds a lot like Lovely War, which I really loved. You follow these two characters during the Second World War, and they are rivals, so they don't like each other. They're both journalists, so they both go off to the war. And she starts writing letters to her brother, but because of this like magical closet or something, her letters get transported to him and they start writing back and forth. So also an epistolary romance. I'm mainly reading this because of the hype, and hopefully I can get to it either this year, and if not, then definitely next year. Then I saw that Waterstones had a signed edition for the new 10th anniversary edition of the Bone Season, which that is the signature. I've never read Bone Season, and I feel like the Bone Season had gotten so many mixed reviews. Some people really love it, and some people really don't. So I never actually bought it. But Samantha Shannon is a pretty popular author, and when I saw this edition, I was like, you know what? Let me just buy it. Let me just buy it and see what the hype is about, and to see if I fall into the love it or hate it category. So I don't have active plans to read it, but I'm glad it is part of my collection, and maybe in the future I'll just do a reading vlog of me reading this series, which I believe, let me actually check. This was supposed to be like a 7-book series, and I don't think she ever wrote this many books. And I don't even know if this series is finished. Let me see. Okay, so she wrote 4, and the last one was published in 2021. And there are 3 books that are still untitled. So I don't know if they will ever be published, but anyway, I bought it and I'm happy about it too. Now the last category are my graphic novel and manga. So the first one is actually Lore Olympus Volume 5. So this one actually came out the beginning of October, and I pre-ordered it and I read it like the next day. This is the 5th book, and I cannot really tell you a whole lot about it because, let me actually see. Yeah, so I'm on episode 126. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and it's their love story. Very, very slow burn. Although I do have to say, it feels slow burn because there's so many volumes, so many episodes. But in this actual world, they've only known each other for 2 weeks. So it's like in their time, it's not that slow burn. But I'm thoroughly enjoying my time reading this graphic novel series, and obviously I already read this one. And then the last two are volume 3 and volume 4 of Full Metal Alchemist. This is the Full Metal edition. And I read the first volume and I didn't love it. Then I read the second volume, and that was gonna determine whether or not I was gonna continue on. And as you can see, I did really like that volume, so I did decide to continue on. My plan is just to read 2 volumes of these every month. So I have active plans to read these 2 in October. I have not read them yet. Basically, you follow 2 brothers, and one of them is a Full Metal Alchemist. He's very powerful, but they did a spell trying to bring their mother back from the dead, but it backfired, and the oldest brother, Edward, lost his arm and his leg, and the youngest one lost his entire body. So Edward put his soul in a suit of armor, and basically it's them trying to, traveling the world, trying to get their bodies back. Like I said, I didn't really enjoy the first book. The second book is finally the story that was described to me by so many people, like the found family aspect, but mainly the brotherly relationship. I didn't feel that in the first volume, and I definitely did feel that in the second, so I'm very excited to read these 2. So yes, let me actually count. I have 10 books that I have read and 11 books that I have not read. Let me actually show them to you. So these I did read, and these ones I haven't read yet. Although, like I said, I do have to say, the Full Metal Alchemist ones I will have read by the time October ends. And in November, I have active plans to read, especially Yours Truly, and maybe also romantic comedy. So that leaves me with these ones where I don't have active plans to actually read them very soon. Although I do have to say, once I actually read Yours Truly, since I am trying to finish as many series as possible, I know that it's very easy for me to just read this one and have another series completed. So that leaves me with these ones, which is not that bad, honestly. So yes, those were all the books that I bought in the past couple of weeks. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts were. Also, what book did you recently buy that you're very much looking forward to? And I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely leave me a like if you did. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.